How annoying is this jacket?
A better you starts today.
Yeah, we got a bunch of 80s jackets just to match the aesthetic of this channel. Thanks for asking. Now, you're probably wondering why your life sucks. Fair enough. That's why you probably clicked on this, isn't it? Well, sorry about that, mate. I hope that it gets better for you. Maybe this will help out. I hope that it does. I really do. Because I really do think that nothing is worse for society than a bunch of people sitting around being bored. Because what leads to boredom afterwards? Look, yes, boredom is a good tool, but it is a terrible master, isn't it? As the old saying goes, idle hands are tools of the devil. I really do think that once you start being bored, not only is it destructive for your life, if you're just in that constant state of just like nothing ever changes, which is what I always get from people that work for someone else. There are two types of employees, it really seems. It seems that there's ones that just really believe in the cause of what they're doing. So say people that work for Tesla, for instance. All of those engineers, very happy to work overtime, very happy to make Elon Musk extremely wealthy. And the reason that they are able to do that is because the man's transforming the grid. I mean, go inside one of those cars. You can see that there is a lot of love and attention to detail of the people that have been working on it, isn't there? Even the door handle, you just open it up, how it just goes, welcome. And that's, look, I wouldn't know how to do that. Good for them. There's that type. And then there are the other type of employees that seem to feel like there's this endless sense of drudgery, that they wish that they would die, much like people that are caught in purgatory, because an endless void of nothing is worse than hell. Does that sound like your life? Just a reminder, it's not going to get any better. Well, I think that if you are in one of those jobs, first off, the best thing that you can absolutely do is figure out how to get out of one of those ones. You know what I'm talking about? One of those really difficult, there's all these structures, everybody just needs to keep the wheels moving, the wheels are just spinning, the thing just keeps going, that kind of business that just has this stasis and no real reason or cause to live and exist as an entity. We're not even talking about you, you're just a cell in it, yeah? Even if you're at the top, you're still just a cell in it. If that body is static, like everything else, if it's not growing, it's dying. So you need to get out of that first off. But the second thing that I will say about this feeling is, yes, boredom, what is that? It's being stuck in a rut, isn't it? It's when you are not challenging yourself at all, and so you just are able to go through the motions of your life with absolute ease. Yep, turning on that switch. Inside there is a sex dungeon that I constructed for my daughter that I've trapped. Yep, nothing weird in there. Just get rid of that. We'll just go in, brush my teeth. Oh, well, you know, would you believe that somebody that's into that sort of thing, and I brush my teeth with sulfur, but I'm used to that. So anything that you are doing currently and you are able to do well, doesn't matter how simple the task is, doesn't matter how advanced the task is, eventually you will get into that feeling of, I'm just doing the machine thing. And so you need to find yourself some more challenges. Now, here's the side of that where it goes a little too far. I want you to think about something like bungee jumping for a second. What a rush, right? Wrong. Not for me. Quite strange for somebody who's wearing such a loud, obnoxious jacket that looks like one of those skydiving jackets, I'll admit. But I don't ever want to do that, because it's too far and there's no gain in it for me personally. I'm not one of those people that's like, yes, my dream in life is to have a GoPro sponsored by Red Bull on my head. But if that is yours, then you will obviously get like a feeling of nervousness, but you won't have this feeling of panic when you think about it. So when I think about skydiving, there is just a visceral, no, I'm scared of heights. There's that, gain in it. So that's just way off the, the thing of just like, you need to challenge yourself. You don't even need to go that far. What you're looking for, and this is what I need you to write down right now. It's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard. Make nerves your friend. Make nerves your friend. When you think about something. So something that is in between both of those two things for me to this very day is, and it's becoming less and less so because every year you just get a little more seasoned at it, but starting a new stand-up show. Starting a new stand-up show because you know that the first 20 or 30 of them are just going to be down the toilet. And like I always say when I make this point, I'm sorry if you put your money into that, but just rest assured, I liked your money a lot. I did not, however, like being on stage for those first 20 or 30 times. It sucks because there's all these pitfalls in the show. After a while, the show gets really smooth, then you get bored of it, and then you move on to the next thing. That's what I'm talking about there. So, what is the process? Now, think about this. What is the process of the thing that kind of gives you the nerves, inspires you on, and you're like, oh, this is really exciting, and you're moving towards it? What is that? What is it? Well, it's obviously something that illuminates your passion, first off, but it's also just outside of your reach of control at the moment. It's just a little bit more difficult. You'll have to actually do something out of your realm of comfort, but not too far out of your realm of comfort. And that's going to give you that motivation in life to reach for it, where you feel like it's accomplishable, but you can't accomplish it easily now. In fact, I'll go further than that, not even accomplish it easily, unconsciously, that you can basically do it in your sleep, which is what happens at the end of the stint when I'm doing a stand-up show. The last 20 or 30 rounds of it, I could do it in my sleep. I could close my eyes and just go through the projectors. Yeah, hit that note. There we go. Oh, well, just fuck that joke up. Who cares? I know they can do it. It's gone at that point. The nervousness is gone. And then the challenge then becomes, what am I going to do the next show around and how to make those jokes work around that and try and get that concept in people's heads that I am trying to make as challenging to the audience as possible and then leaping it back from there for them in terms of both the joke work and the ideas that I'm putting into people's heads. That's another part of stand-up that's the great challenge of it. And if you aren't doing that with your stand-up, I think you're just wasting your time. The great aim of stand-up, I think, is to give people like a new perspective of the world and one that is hard for them to accept, but not way too hard for them to accept that they storm out. That's what you're aiming for. And the jokes kind of just help that go down. And what really, really helps with that is if the jokes are challenging, but not way too challenging. So you're always looking for that nice middle ground of discomfort. You want the audience to feel a level of discomfort. You want them to feel some level of discomfort because the relief comes with the gag. And it is the same thing when you're watching drama. When you're watching drama, how bad is it when you're watching someone crying, you're like, nah, I don't believe it. But when you actually feel sad for the person there, that's drama. So let's just continue on with that, actually. So, what am I saying here? Why is your life boring? Because you're doing things that are too easy. If you're doing things that are just way out, like say you're homeless and you've got some, I don't know, husband that's trying to beat you up being like, oh, fucking find you, bitch. You're going to be panicking. It's just like, yeah, this is outside of my comfort zone, but too far. There's going to be that. But if you are in that nice little Goldilocks area of it, you are going to feel fulfilled. You're going to feel passionate. You're going to feel excited about getting up every day. Let's try and land you there. How do we do that? Well, the very first step is you need to find a way to make the process that you are doing every day enjoyable. You need to become process-oriented as opposed to outcome-oriented. This is something that men, I think, particularly struggle with. The thing that I think women usually struggle with in life a lot is goal setting and just having this dogged going after it to the end. They kind of just, it's too much, and they get distracted by just the environment that is around them. But that makes them usually happier people. When you look at the depression rates of men and women, I really do think that, you know, there's all these explanations of like society abandoned them. And I honestly think that if you went back in time, it'd still be exactly the same thing. And I think it is because men are much more outcome oriented. Now, they push the world forward in that outcome oriented behavior, but it's always just this nice little balancing act that you want of being outcome oriented at some point in your life. But most of your life, you want to be focused on the process. So what is the process? Well, let's just go through, say, for instance, when I'm writing one of my stand-up shows. The first thing that I'm always doing when I do it is just writing down everything that I think about the subject. Absolutely everything. There is a freedom to that. When you are sitting there and editing it, all of a sudden, you don't enjoy the process anymore. And you aren't getting those nice little connectors that are naturally happening inside your head that start building up the jokes anyway that come later on. When you are acting, and I know this because Ben Shapiro point, my girlfriend's an actor. A huge light bulb moment for her was when she realized going to auditions is a horrible experience because it's just a bunch of people in a room that don't really want you there. And they're like, yeah, next, I guess she's an Asian as well, yeah, and just say the line. You like the cushion, you think the cushion, next. I hate that. But when she was able to turn it around in her head, and this is the best piece of advice that I've ever heard, not just for actors, but for everybody else, which is, oh, I'm not being judged in this situation. This is an opportunity for me to pretend to be this character. So what's happened immediately at that moment? Instead of the audition just being like, time to be rejected again, it's become, no, I'm going to try and inhabit this character for the 5 minutes that I have. So then the audition process is kind of like almost, if you think about it when you're an actor, yeah? Say you're going for a TV series. First is the audition process. Then there's the pilot. If you perform well enough in the pilot, they'll give you a first season. If that season goes well, you go to the second season. So really, you're just constantly auditioning, aren't you? That's one way of looking at it. The other way to look at it is, just from the audition process, you are able to inhabit a different character for that 5 minutes. That's what acting is all about. So, and this is what is going to get you further anyway in the first place, if you enjoy the audition process, because you will be able to perform better when you are in front of the camera, won't you? Yes, not with me now. You need one of those. You need one of those little flips in your head so that you can change the process. So, when I'm reading for my next stand-up show, which, by the by, is going to be about the Byzantines, and nobody's going to be interested in it, but you're going to come to it anyway, aren't you? But the whole time that I was going through that, really, what was I looking for? I was a treasure hunter when I was going through the reading. That's how you flipped it. I flipped it in my head. So I was enjoying the process of reading about it because it was just, that's always what I'm doing. That's why I enjoy reading, is because you are just digging for these nuggets, like a little 1800s prospector, and every now and then you get your, moment. And then when it comes to the writing part, what's going on there? Well, that's just the point of just now, all of these gold nuggets, I get to, all right, let's see how much they work. So now it's kind of just the guy sitting there being like, But there's all these different things in my head that I use to try and make the process that I'm doing at that very moment enjoyable. Every single part of it. Every part of your day, when you start it, you should be trying to think of ways to enjoy the process. So, what's something that you're always complaining about in your life right now that you need to do anyway? Is it work? Are you one of these people that's always saying, my life is monotonous? There's two reasons for it. The first one is you don't see a higher purpose to it. So we've done a bunch of videos on that. We'll just ignore that one. But let's go to the second one. There are things that you can do at your work right now to make the process enjoyable. You know there is. You know that there's a couple of things that you can do to shift it around or change the way that you think about it, like the audition process example. You can use that to make your day more enjoyable, and therefore you're going to enjoy the process, which means that you're going to go into it, and when you go into it, that's where mastery occurs. Mastery occurs when you have undivided, focused attention on a process that you're doing until you figure out all the little chinks in it, and you iron those out, and you got something nice and streamlined. Isn't that a better way of going through life? I'll tell you right now, all the successful actors are always saying, I don't like my movie, but I like everything that comes up to that point. And it is exactly the same that happens to a bunch of my stuff now. You know, honestly, for years, I haven't been watching my videos. I'll sometimes watch them when I'm forced to watch them to give notes and feedback. But once the process is done, I'm not interested in that part anymore. I am interested in everything that leads up to the video. That's the part that I'm interested in. After that, it's just whatever the world thinks about it. You will hear this over and over again with people that are interested in the process of mastery. They're not interested in the result anymore. The gift is the doing part. So find something that's like that for you. And sign up to Jordan Shanks if you want more tips on how to get your process in line so that you get the outcome anyway. But first off, you enjoy, like you just get the mansion at the end, but you're just inside the mansion tinkering at a new process. And that's where true joy comes from. I'm telling you right now. So make sure that you sign up to Jordan Shanks because it will be giving you daily reminders. Hey, make sure that you do this. Make sure that you do that. Because let's be honest, you're too weak-willed to think for yourself, admit it.